Woo! Woo! Ow! That's one of my favorite sounds. It sounds like someone's having so much fun they hurt themselves. Like you didn't plan ahead of time. Ow! Too much fun. It's such a weird sound. I love it. And you know what's crazy is that we all know what that sound means. You know, we don't agree on anything in this world. Race, religion, politics. But that sound, that woo-hoo, has united us all. You can make that sound anywhere, and people accept it, as long as there's alcohol present. You can make that sound. Woo-hoo! But there has to be alcohol. You can't make that sound anywhere else. You can't make that sound in the office. It's unacceptable. Your boss won't allow it. You can't be like, final email sent. Woo-hoo! Johnson! Sorry. You can't make that sound in church. And that is why Jesus died for our sins. Woo-hoo! Sorry, Pastor. Go to hell. You just can't do it. But everyone knows it. Everyone knows what woo-hoo means. It means happiness. Yeah, it means the happiness of the people. It's strange, because no one asked me to vote on it. I didn't get to choose. If I was to choose, I don't know that I would pick woohoo as the sound of happiness. Strangely enough, I think it may be more apt as the sound of sadness. Yeah, I could see it at a funeral, family gathered around the caskets, tears streaming down their face, pastor reading the eulogy. We will always remember Mary as a loving mother, a caring friend, foodie, blogger, and wonderful sister. Before we lay her to rest, would you please join me now as we observe a moment of woohoo? Everyone's standing there in tears. Woo! There'd always be one big lady in the corner. Woo! Thank you very much, sister. Such a fun sound. Sound of happiness. The sound of white happiness in particular. Yeah. I've tracked it. I've searched for the source of woohoo and I found it originated with white people. White women in particular. That's where it comes from. That is the sound of a white woman's turn up. That is the sound of her getting into the game. It's like, Tammy! Woo! And that's when you know it's on. Because everyone else learned it from white women. That's where it came from. You know, it spread through society like a virus. It's not the natural sound anybody else makes. White women make that sound instinctively, but everyone else has learned it. Like, white men were the first ones to learn it because for them it's sort of like a mating call. They know what it means. They have to reciprocate like, woo! Woo! But everyone else had to learn it. It's a natural sound for them, but for nobody else. Like black people woohoo, but it's not the natural sound black people make for fun. You know, black people can woohoo, black people often do woohoo, but it's not instinctively a black sound of happiness. And I think it's because black people are uncomfortable with the woohoo. Deep down inside, there's a certain moment in woohoo when every black person stops enjoying it. There's just a moment when, and maybe this is just my personal experiences, but I feel it sounds eerily similar to a police siren. There's just a moment where it stops being fun. It's just that split second where it's like, woohoo, woo, 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 woo. Put your hands in the air and keep them there. not the sound of happiness in my life. That's not. Although I guess that's why white people do it, because white people love calling the police. So they're probably like, woo! Oh my God, the cops are here! Party time! Come on in, I thought you'd never make it. That's what white people do. White people have a very different relationship with the police. I always try to explain this to my friend Dave. You know, when we hang out, he's like, dude, what is it with black people and police? I'm like, it's not that black people don't like the police or hate the police. It's just that we have a tumultuous history with the police. One day we're driving on the highway, and the police car pulled up behind us. And I got tense. I just got really tense. And he's like, dude, what's going on? And I said, the police are behind us. And he was like, yeah, and? Did you do anything wrong? I said, that's not the point. Because it really isn't. For white people, that is the point. The police will send you to jail if you do something wrong. As a black person, you have a different relationship. The police may send you to jail just because. I know this because I was driving. I got pulled over by the police for the first time in my life in America. And already I'm not very comfortable when driving in the United States, you know. Not because of the other side of the road, but because of the other side of the car. I'm not used to that. You know, I always get into the car on the wrong side. I'll be shopping, and I'll come back to my car confidently, and I'll jump inside and put the things down, and then I'm like, ah. And then instead of getting out, I sit there. I always just sit there. Because I always think somebody's watching me, so I just sit there. And I act like I planned it all. Like, where is my driver? Where's my driver? He should have been here by now. Where's my... Oh, well, I guess I'll drive myself. I don't know why I do that. I'm not comfortable. But you have to drive in Los Angeles. So I had a little rental car, and I'm driving on the freeway. And this police car pulls up behind me. And he drives behind me for a little bit. And then he flashes these lights. And I was like, oh, he probably wants to go past. And so I moved over to the middle lane, and then he came with me. And he flashed his lights again, and I was like, oh, come on, just go past me, man. Just go past me. And I went back to the fast lane. He came back with me, and he has the flash light. And this time he's like, whoop, 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 whoop. And I was like, yeah, go past. You keep doing with me, go past. Because I didn't think he was stopping me. I thought it was basically the vehicular equivalent of that moment on the sidewalk when you both don't know which way to go. I thought we were doing that with our cars, like, I thought that was happening. And clearly he thought that I was evading him in the most polite manner ever. Because he gets irritated, he's like, pull on the side road, pull on the side road. Now, I couldn't hear what the hell he was saying. I'm not gonna, which I think is part of the problem. I don't think it's fair that police have speakers on their cars and we don't. I think this is a recipe for disaster. That's the first step in mending relationships, is communication, people. I don't know what the hell that guy was saying, but I couldn't tell him. He was like, if I had a speaker, I would have had the ability to be like, sir, I cannot hear what you're saying. Enunciate your words, please. Enunciate your words. Speak clearly. No, use your words, buddy. Use your words. Talk to me. Talk to me. What do you need? Pull over. Pull over. Be like, okay, I will be pulling over right now. Thank you very much. Like, it would be more effective. But I didn't know. So I'm there, and he's like, pull over, I'm like, I don't know what the hell you want to do. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, pull over. And I panicked, and so I stopped. I pulled over right there where I was on the freeway, which apparently you're not supposed to do. I didn't know this. Because I just know that police tell me to do something, I do it. So he said, pull over, and then I stopped. And then he was like, don't pull over there. And I was like, well, you should have been more specific. You can't tell me to pull over, and then tell me not pull over. You should have said pull over at a time that is more appropriate. You can't just tell. Now I'm panicking. He's like, get back into the road. I'm like, this guy does not know what he wants. I'm back in the road. And he's like, kick the next exit. And now we're driving. And now he's guiding me along. It's like I had a really angry GPS. It was the weirdest thing ever. So like he's driving me like, make a right at the lights, make a right. It's like I chose angry cop on my ways. That's what it felt like. He's like, turn left, oh no. I said left, turn left, no. Recalculating. What did I say?
And so finally we stop. I pull over on the side of the road. He pulls over behind me, and he gets out of the car, and I'm myself. As he gets out, he goes, "Keep your hands where I can see them." I was like, I don't know what you can see or not see. I don't know. These are very vague instructions. I don't know what you can. So now I'm there doing this. So I don't know what you can see or not. I'm straight. Like, don't get me wrong. I just, you know, the thing is, I just don't want to die. That's all I just don't want to die. I know I don't look like, but I'm not the dying type. I'm not. Like, I'm a chilled out guy who likes living. I don't want to die. And the worst thing is, I don't know how not to die. That's the thing. I don't know how not to die. Because every day I turn on the TV, it seems like another black person is being shot. So I just want to know how not to get shot. You know, I try and learn. I really do. I try and learn. You know, it all started in the lower echelons of enforcement, community watch. George Zimmerman shot Trevor, the young boy. And the story started off with man shoots boy. Everyone was like, yeah, this is horrible, this is disgusting. But then the news, for some strange reason, the next day they just forget, and then they start asking other questions. They go, well, why was he wearing a hoodie? What was he doing, and why was he wearing a hoodie? I was like, oh, is that, so don't wear a hoodie. That's what it is, the hoodie. It's very frightening. You don't know what's going on under there. Yeah, we've all seen Star Wars. It's the creepiest thing ever. Yeah, it's the dark side. And so I was like, oh, so if I don't wear a hoodie, then I'm safe. No one's going to shoot me if I don't wear a hoodie. But then you cut forward, and then the next thing you know, it's Mike Brown in Ferguson. And he gets shot by the police, unarmed, gets shot. And like a man was unarmed and he got shot, and I was like, oh, this is disgusting. And they said, but also he approached the police officer apparently, and he may or may not have scuffled with it. We don't know, but he approached him. And I was like, oh, okay, so now don't wear a hoodie and don't approach the police. Don't go towards the police. You see police, you go the other way. You go the other way. Okay, cool, I got it. So no hoodies, no approaching the police. This is it. I'm learning. This is how. But then the next guy comes on the news, Eric Garner in New York City. And there he is. He's standing, and the police, they apprehend him, and they start choking him. And he doesn't go towards them. He's standing there with his arms up, and he gets choked to death by 6 policemen. And then they come on the news the next day, and they go, well, you got to understand, for these police, I mean, this was a pretty big guy. He was a pretty big guy. He was scary. He was a really scary big black guy. And I'm like, okay, cool. So don't be a big black guy, and then you should be fine. Don't be a big black guy, and then and every day I look in the mirror and I'm like, good job. And I'm like, okay, fine. Okay, so don't wear a hoodie, and don't approach the policeman, and don't be a big black man. And I think I've got it all down. And then I turn on the TV, and then I see Walter Scott, a 50-something-year-old man running away from a policeman, getting shots in the back, running away from the policeman. And again, the media, for some strange reason, just seems to forget what the main purpose of the discussion is. Because on day 1, they go, unarmed man, shot in the back. Day 2, they're like, who was Walter Scott? Let's find out about it. Apparently he had a charge of assault against him in 1987. So he gets shot for it? How hard did he punch the guy that he gets shot for it in 2015? Well, did he punch the guy into the future and then he came back to get him? Is that what happened? I mean, it was the 80s. Everyone punched somebody in the 80s. I don't understand why this is a big deal. They were saying the craziest thing. They were like, Walter Scott, I mean, everybody's talking about the police officer. Let's talk about him. Why did he run? Because he didn't want to go to jail. Are we really going to live in a world where police no longer want to chase criminals? Is that what we're saying? Is that what we're saying? Police no longer want to chase criminals? That's the whole point of the game, isn't it? We played it as kids, cops and robbers. Yeah? You've seen the movies. That's what makes it fun. Freeze! You can't catch me, copper. And then you rob it. That's what makes it fun. Now police no longer want to chase criminals. We're going to live in a world where police, can you imagine what that's going to do to the movie industry? It's going to be horrible. Remember, we're going to be watching Bad Boys 5, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Freeze! Okay, End of movie. Done. It's the worst movie ever. This is the strangest thing. They asked all the weird questions that have nothing to do with the man being shot who is unarmed. And they come and they go, also noted is that Walter Scott owed $16,000 in child support. To the cop? No, I mean, because that would be a different story. That would be like, if that was the mother of his children that shot him, then you know what? I may actually be on her side. You never know. Yeah. I might have been like, you know what, sister? You shoot him in the back, girl. That's right. You shoot him thinking he ain't gonna pay after he play. You shoot him in the back thinking he gonna run away from his responsibilities. Shoot him dead. But this has nothing to do with it. A policeman shoots an unarmed man, he's running away. And then they have the nerve, the crazy nerve to say this officer feared for his life. He was afraid. Afraid of what? The man's running away. There's nothing less frightening than somebody running away from you. That is the definition of fear. He's running away. The only thing he could have done to be less threatening is to cluck like a chicken as he does. There's nothing less frightening than a man running away from you. Like, what are you afraid of? You can't say he was running away. I was afraid. Afraid of what? He's running away from you. That makes no sense. You see him from behind. No one's threatening from behind. They're running away. There's no one who's frightened. Like maybe Kim Kardashian, but nobody else. He's running away from you. You shoot him in the back. And I was like, yeah, I was afraid. Afraid of what? What do you have, abandonment issues? Why would you shoot a man? My dad left when I was 5. Makes no sense. So I don't know how not to die. And here I am in my car on the side of the road in the random streets in Los Angeles. And the whole time I'm just like, I don't want to die. I want to die. I want to die. And the policeman, he gets out of his car and he starts walking towards me. And his hand is by his side. And it's doing this. And I've watched Westerns. I know what this means. This is never good. This never turns into friendship. So I'm starting to stress and I'm looking at him in the side mirror of my car and I'm panicking because objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. So he's gonna get there at any moment. And I don't know why I did this. Like as soon as I panicked, I completely panicked and I launched myself out the window. I took my body and I threw it out the window and I fell onto the side of the car, just and onto the side of the car. I basically went back to nature. I thought of a predator, you don't make eye contact and you play dead. That's all I did. I just played dead on the side of the car. Shame, which freaked him out. He was just like, what, hey, what's going on? I said, I'm sorry, officer. I'm sorry. He's like, sure, what are you sorry for? I said, whatever it is that's gonna make you shoot me, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, officer. He said, sure, get back in the car. Get back in the car. I said, no. I don't want to die. Please, I'm not falling for that trick. Please, officer, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's like, sure, I'm not going to kill you. Just get back in the car. Get back. And I mean, shame, this guy was just as freaked out as I was. I'm not going to lie. Because I mean, when I put myself in his shoes, what does he do? Imagine that you're standing on the side of a guy jumps out of his own car. What is he? He can't even call for backup. What does he say? 10-4, I need backup. And what do you need? I got a black guy killed himself. 10-4, you gotta make something up better than that. We'll back you up, don't worry. Like, you can't, like, what do you say? It's just like, weird. The guy's freaking out, I'm freaking out. And I'm lying there And this guy, he approaches slowly, he finally gets to me and lifts my arms and he's like, get back in the car, sir, get back. And he stuffs me back into my window. Get back. And I was like, no, I don't want to die. Please, I don't want to die. He's like, sir, calm down. Okay. I'm sorry. He's like, sir, have you been drinking? I said, no, sir, I haven't been drinking. I said, okay, calm down. Do you know why I pulled you over, sir? I said, it's because I'm black. And now, I wasn't being an ass, nor was I joking. I'd just been informed that as a black person in America, if you drive a really nice car, there's a good chance you're going to get pulled over by the police. Yeah, so in my world, he was doing his job as I'd been told. Yeah, I wasn't judging him. In fact, I was a little flattered. I was like, well, thank you very much, Mr. Officer, for noticing this bad boy right here. That's right, 2015, baby. I was really excited. He was more freaked out though, because I said to him, I said, it's because I'm black. And then he did this thing that I've come to learn as the reaction of white people in America, who, when they hear information they can't process fast enough, have this thing where they smile on the outside, but on the inside, it's almost as if they're short-circuiting. And he looks at me and he goes, I'm sorry, what? I said, because I'm black, that's why you pulled me over? And he goes, no, hey, no, hey, we no, that is not, no, hey, no, I don't, no, that is not, I felt so bad for him. I think we both learned a lot that day, the two of us. Grew from that experience. I was speeding, that's why he pulled me over. But he let me go. Fear. I'm having a great time, I really am. I'm not getting speeding fines, enjoying my time out here. Some of you may or may not know, I got a job. This is fantastic for me. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. That's how my grandmother put it, funny enough. I phoned my grandmother to tell her that I'd be working on the Daily Show. And she was really excited. She was like, "Ooh, Trevor, I'm so happy for you. Well done, you got a job." I said, no, Granny, I already had a job. And she's like, "No, you didn't. Did you have an office?" I said, "No." She's like, "That it wasn't a job." That's all she cares about. My mom was a bit better. I called her to tell her the news. And to give you a bit of a backstory, I've got two younger brothers. Right? One brother is 9 years younger than me, and then the youngest is 20 years younger than me. Right? And so the youngest just became one of the student council members in his school. Right? So he got onto the student council. So I phoned my mom to tell her my good news. I'm on the phone with her. I'm like, "Oh, Mom, I don't know if you heard, I'm going to be on the Daily Show." And she's like, "Oh, my baby, I'm so excited. Oh, praise Jesus. This is wonderful. Well done, baby. I'm so happy for you. And did you hear what happened to your brother?" I'm like, "No, what happened?" She said, "Oh, he's on the student council at his school. Oh, I'm so excited. Both my boys are doing big things in the world. I'm so happy. Oh." And I was like, "Yeah. Some things are bigger than others." She's like, "No, it's all the same." I was like, "You say that, but I mean, you know. Come on, you know." She's like, "Okay, fine. You were never student council, so let's cheer for you." You're like, "What?" It was a wonderful experience, though. Changed my life completely. Come into the US, feel like people are smiling at me more. Might just be my imagination. Because I noticed that at the airports I've been flying in, probably a combination of my job and the fact that the Ebola crisis is now past. That was probably the worst time ever. Is flying into America as an African during the Ebola crisis. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in an airport. You'd walk in, there'd be tension, they'd usher everybody into a special quarantine area, ask you questions that they don't normally ask. The number one question they always ask was, "Sir, have you been in contact with Ebola?" They'd always ask, "Sir, have you been in contact with Ebola?" I love the sincerity of the question, like there was a chance my answer could be yes. And next stop, Disney World. Like, what kind of person do you think I am that I'll still be embarking on a journey having knowingly been in contact with the most deadly disease on the planet? Like, who do you think I am that I'll be there like, I don't care. Booking.com has a zero refund policy. I'm going to Disney World, even if it kills me, Mickey Mouse, and everybody else, I'm going. Have you been in contact with Ebola? And they always said that like Ebola was like a distant relative. I love the phrasing. Have you been in contact with Ebola? Yeah, I spoke to him last week. He's doing well, eh? Thank you very much for asking. Ebola made flying a nightmare. One of the worst flights. I was coming from Johannesburg, South Africa, going to San Francisco. Flew, and then because of the distance of the flight, you have to stop over in Washington. And they change over your flight, so you go onto another plane, and then that plane takes you to San Francisco. And when we were changing planes, when we were switching over, the air hostess in the second plane tells the passengers that Africans are coming on board. And so because of this, they're going to be spraying the cabin with the light pesticide. No, I understand, like when people are afraid, they do stupid things. I get it. What I didn't understand was why she told them this as we were boarding the plane. Have the decency to speak behind our backs. Because we were walking onto the aircraft, and she takes her little microphone, she goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, please note we have some passengers joining us on the South African flight. They're coming from Africa. If everybody could please stand in their seats as these passengers find their place. We're going to be spraying the cabin with a light pesticide due to the Ebola crisis. And feel free to cover your nose, eyes, ears, and mouth. The pesticide shouldn't be harmful, but it may be. So if everybody would just cover up, and we'll be coming down shortly as everybody takes their place. Thank you very much." She says this as we board the plane. This is our introduction, Ebola crisis, and we're there like, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Do you know how hard it is to find a seat in a plane with people that think you're bringing them death? Do you know how hard it is? Like you're sitting there and everyone you go, it always felt like that scene from Forrest Gump. Like as I'm walking down the plane, people are like, you can't sit here. No space. I'm just walking down trying to find your Jenny. Finally, everyone's seated. We take off. Plane heads out to San Francisco. And it was by far the most tense flight I have ever been on. I coughed once. The plane shook. It wasn't even a bad cough. It was just like a little tickle. I was just like, the guy opposite me was like, Ebola! Ebola! I was like, yo, dude, calm down, man. Calm down. It's just AIDS. You're safe, buddy. Calm down. It's okay. Everyone was so stressed. The plane was tense. No one wanted food, no snacks. We finally land at the airport. The plane is taxiing to the gate, and everyone was waiting for that seatbelt sign to go off. Everyone was just, like, it was more than normal, because already, I never understand why people are in a hurry on a plane to get out of their seat, like, because you can't go anywhere. But whenever a plane lands, everyone's just like, come on, come on, come on. You can't go, you're gonna go there. That's where you literally go there. He's like, come on, boom, yeah. I don't understand why people are in a hurry to go. You know what's even worse? The people at the window. You have no right to be in a hurry. You're sitting there like, come on, boom, yeah. Oh, that's good, yeah. Yeah, pass me my luggage. Pass it to me now, right now, yeah. I'm glad I can sit down for 2 more minutes. This is much more comfortable. Just stay in your seat, just wait. Ebola made it worse, 100 times worse. Because now everyone wants to get out of the plane, coughing, sneezing, you can feel the tension. And as we're about to leave, the air hostess comes back on the PA and she goes, ladies and gentlemen, back in your seats, please. Everybody back in your seats. Unfortunately, right now, we have a health and safety official that needs to come on board just to make sure that everything is A-okay due to Ebola. We're just going to make sure that everything is fine. So please stay in your seats, ladies and gentlemen. Again, apologies for the delay. She says this, and then this man comes on, a health and safety official, right? And he has with him a list of all the African passengers and a thermometer, right? A digital laser thermometer. And he comes on, and his job is to scan all the African passengers and get their temperature. And I think the way it works is like, if you're very hot, then you've got Ebola, right? So he's got the list. And he walks around and scans the passengers and gets the thing, walks down, ticks their names off the list, gets the temperature, gets the names, temperature, names. Finally gets to where I'm seated. And does the weirdest thing. He scans a passenger opposite me, moves to my aisle, looks at me, looks at my name, looks back at me, and then he just shrugs and walks away. Nah. Almost as if I wasn't African enough. I've never felt so conflicted in my life. Yeah, because don't get me wrong, right? I never want anyone to think I have Ebola. But I also don't want anyone to assume that I can't have Ebola. You don't know me. You don't know what I'm capable of. I could have all the Ebola in the world. I'm there trying to cheer myself up. Like, chin up, Trevor. You could have Ebola. Chin up, kid. Come on. You could have Ebola. He walks to the back of the plane, scans the rest of the passengers, gets to the tail, and he realizes he's now missing a name. So he looks back through the plane, can't figure out what's going on. I know it's me. But I'm not going to help him. Yeah. He had his chance. He had a good Ebola man, and he let him go. And so I watch him panic. And as he panics, the air hostess comes back down the plane. She goes, hey, what's going on? I need to get the people out of here. He goes, yeah, I know, I got a problem on the Ebola list. I can't figure out where the passenger is. And she's like, yeah, I got to get the people out. He's like, look, I know this is killing me as well, but I just got to figure out. She's like, yeah, if I don't get them out, I'm dead. I got to get the people going. It's like, yeah, I know, just calm down. Just give me a second. And now you can feel the tension building in the plane. People start whispering. There's murmurs going around. Because some people are hearing pieces of the conversations, like broken telephone as it goes down the plane. All they're hearing is, yeah, Ebola killing me, people. It's like, yeah, Dad, everybody out of here, Dad. And it's like you feel the tension. People start looking at each other. The guy opposite me didn't even hide it. He was like, it's you. You're Ebola, it's you. I was like, dude, I do not have Ebola. Stop saying that. He's like, it's you, damn it, it's you. Busy coughing. I was like, if you don't shut up, I'll cough on you. I'll cough on you now. He's like, what? I was like, I'll cough on you. He's like, what? I'll kill you. I was like, I'll kill you first. Everyone in the place starts losing. The people are going crazy. Everyone is stressed. People want to leave. And in the middle of the chaos, in the midst of all of this, I'll never forget a Middle Eastern man, maybe 4 rows behind me, dressed in very traditional garb. He stands up and he sticks his head into the conversation being had between the air hostess and the safety official. And he goes, excuse me, pardon me, sorry to interrupt. I couldn't help noticing what you are talking. I just want to say maybe you want to check. I know this gentleman over there is coughing a little bit. The man, he never write anything for him. I thought he was wearing a hood, something about him, I don't know, something. Just made me a little bit uncomfortable. I thought maybe you want to check. There is, you know what they say, say something, say something. I just, maybe you check now. I'm like, really? Ahmed. How the wheel has turned, my friend. You quickly forget. There was a time when Muslims were the black people of the sky. And yet now you have deserted me. Because I thought he'd be on my side. I thought if only anyone understood what it would be like to be stigmatized, it would be that man. You know, I thought we shared something. I thought he'd look over and be like, don't worry, brother, I got your back. Instead, he sold me down the river, threw me under the bus like, hey, it's your turn now. I'm free, bitches. And he was. I don't blame him. He was. Because Ebola was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in terms of the human condition, how quickly we're taught to panic. You know, 1 minute I'll be flying, I'll see people of Middle Eastern descent getting pulled, random selections, beeping through the machine. And then Ebola happened, and all of a sudden the focus shifted. Focus shifted. Now it was Africans getting pulled aside, Africans waiting. Middle Easterners were cruising through security. And then almost as quickly as it started, it flipped back overnight. And I'll never forget when it happened. Right after the Charlie Hebdo attack in Paris. That attack happened, and almost the next day, Ebola wasn't a thing anymore. Middle Easterners were back in the spotlight. Normal service had been resumed. Because after Charlie Hebdo, I would walk through airports and no one gave a damn. They didn't care about me, where I was from, nor the bananas in my bag. I just cruised through security. Charlie Hebdo. Terrorist attack in France. Everyone led with it. CNN, breaking news, terrorists have attacked Charlie Hebdo headquarters. BBC, and in breaking news, unconfirmed reports saying 12 people have been killed by terrorists who've attacked. Everyone said they were terrorists. It was weird to me because we didn't know that they were terrorists. We just knew that they were Middle Eastern. But immediately we were into terrorists. Because if you're Middle Eastern, that's a terrorist. That's the world we live in now. Yeah. If you're Middle Eastern, terrorism is your trademark. It's so crazy how easy it is to get people to hate a group of people, because that's what happened. Charlie Hebdo, and then everyone started saying things about Muslims. These damn Muslims. We gotta stop Islam. That's what we gotta do. We gotta stop these Islamists, these Muslims. Now, I'm not saying all Muslims are terrorists, but all terrorists are Muslims. It sounds really smart, doesn't it? It sounds really smart. But it's not. It's stupid and it's hate speech. That's what it is. It really is. Terrorism is not a race, it's an act. It evolved over time. Yes, right now we're dealing with extremism, Islamic terror in some parts of the world. But if you go to other parts of the world and ask them what a terrorist is, they'll show you a different face. You go to England 20 years ago and you said, well, what was a terrorist? They show you a drunk Irishman. Right? I didn't need to say drunk, I could have just said Irishman. There was a time when Nelson Mandela was labeled a terrorist. Like, terrorism is an act, it's not a face. People say these things. Well, these Muslims, you gotta admit, there's an awful lot of them doing the same thing. You're like, yeah, but you know who's not a terrorist? Most Muslims. Yeah. Most Muslims are not terrorists. I'm not even Muslim, but it gets to me because I'm like, most Muslim people are not terrorists. You know how you know this? Because we're still alive. Yeah. They've had ample opportunities to take us out, people. There's 1 billion Muslim people on the planet. They've had every chance. They could have killed us using those falafels they sell us after midnight when we come out of the club. They could have wiped us all out. They're killer kebabs. They've had the means. It's so weird to see our prejudices, you know, the way people are labeled in the media and society. And it's not just Muslim people, you see it with black people as well. You know, people saying these things like, you know, I remember when the riots were happening in Baltimore, people quickly jumped, these thugs, these are a bunch of thugs running around, these thugs, you know, I'm starting to think black people like crime. That's what I'm starting to think. Is that the only way they can deal with it? Black people like crime. No. Black people don't like crime. Because you know who's not a criminal? Most black people. Yeah, most black people are not criminals. Black people hate crime just like everybody else. It's not like black people are cheering crime on. It's not like they're watching a black guy do some like, yeah, Darnell, you steal that man, you steal that. Yeah, no. When black people see a black person doing a crime, they also looking at the person like, that nigga crazy. You gotta fight the act, not the face, not a face that you put to, it's not the same thing. And everybody has it, you know. If you're a Middle Eastern and you do something, if you're a black person